Right guys, so I thought I'd just do a quick video on the positives, negatives, or dislikes and likes about the shitbox vauxhall Corsa. Obviously this is my first car, but I have driven some others, but obviously this is the one that I own and use day to day when I need to. So yeah, let's find some positives for it first. Obviously the steering wheel is alright. I mean, it's got these buttons. These are quite good for controlling the radio. Quite modern for the age of the car it was. The gauge cluster is not too bad. I mean, it's quite neat and that. Down here, yeah, we've got some electronic wing mirrors. Yeah, but this nice bit of shiny plastic is alright, other than it shows up a few scratches. Speaker system, that is quite good in this car, even though this one's now a bit broken because it rattles about. But the bass and that, obviously, the settings on there, you can alter the bass, the treble, and all the rest of it, and it is quite good for the sound quality. So yeah, that's quite good. The seats are quite comfortable. This steering, this gear stick's quite alright with the little trigger bit that you pull up to put it into reverse gear. It's quite a good feature. Parking brake's alright. Handbrake. What else is good about the car? The boot's quite big. Yeah, that sounds like an old deer or something saying that. It's quite roomy, even though it's quite small. So yeah. Oh, and it looks quite sporty, though it's not now, but it was back in its day. So yeah, now let's talk about the negatives. Starting off with this colour. Obviously I know it changes depending on the model and that. Why the fuck do I want some dodgy old granny's gold colour that looks like it should be on the outside of a Nissan Note or something, stuck on my steering wheel and on this? To be fair, this is quite a neat setup and that's quite a good positive, but obviously this is quite a big chunky old unit for the stereo, and then we've got all this not so very nice colour around it, and we have this band that goes all the way up to that funny little dodgy old sensor on the top there that obviously, as you can see, reflects in the window, which doesn't really bother me, but it would bother some people, and it's a bit pointless. Why do I need a thing that stretches all the way over there? That's useless. Oh yeah, also the hidden settings within, like the stereo clock, the little trig clock over here, and that, they're quite cool on this car, but it does quite a lot of extra stuff that a car for its age also would normally not do. Though I'd rather have some of the stuff that's hidden in this computer stuck on the gauge cluster somewhere, but obviously we decided to keep it simple and that, which looks alright, but it might be helpful with some of the stuff. So yeah, when I've been looking through that, it's like, couldn't you just brought it up on there? These stalks are a bit fat, and obviously this one only has the indicators and the high and low beam on, and these ones, the back window's a bit dodgy for the wiper on there, because you pull it back, or you pull it one way for obviously spraying the front window, pull it the other way for spraying the back window. But then if you just pull it the way for the back window short, then it makes the window wiper stay on and every so often flick on, instead of having a little switch bit to do that like a normal car. And then this little thing, obviously you pull it up for the normal window wiping, but obviously because it doesn't have the twisty bits and that, because they're just fat old stalks, we obviously have this one just here, because obviously some of the cars have the automatic lights on and that, but this doesn't. But that means that when you're driving, you have to sort of lean down to turn them on if you need to, and go around like that. I mean, it's probably because I drive like a chav, but there we go. And then obviously there's the fog light and that, just put in here, and the lights bits for you to go and move your light beam around, and then randomly the cruise control has just been placed right next to it. There's nothing to do with your lights, but it's just there. So yeah, I mean that was alright. I mean, this knob looks better than some of the ones, because some of the ones have a little light up thing that's like this one for just there, but this one's alright. Other than I don't think any of these symbols light up. I can't remember, but I don't know whether they actually do. So it's a bit dark there. Obviously everything else lights up. And yeah, and what else can we say that we don't like about this car? I've done that. Well, there's some things that I don't like about it. This one in particular in a minute, because it's getting a bit old. The other day the seat decided to like ping or something, and I think one of the springs might have broke in the driver's seat. So that's like, oh nice, something else that's decided to give up on it. Obviously the fuel gauge decided to stick at one point. Oh, well, the postman's now walking around. So yeah, the fuel gauge decided to stick when I filled it up with fuel at one point, and that wasn't very helpful. And then the other day the rev meter went crazy for some reason. I don't know whether it was the engine that got stuck or what, but it suddenly revved to like 30,000 and stayed there when I was doing about 40 in 5th gear, and it's like that should have dropped it, but it didn't drop. I might just move my car move out the car in a bit. So yeah, I just thought I'd pause the video for a bit there and move out my car, because the postman was walking around, and it was like, it'll be a bit awkward if I'm sat in the car chatting shit to some camera and he thinks I'm talking to myself as he walks past, because he was a bit late today because it's some other guy. Yeah, the other things with that car as well, because it's getting a bit old, is I've noticed that the it's got a bit of the old tap hits going on in it now, because every time you start up the engine pretty much it makes some dodgy old ticking noise, and then when you get out you can hear it ticking as the engine's going around, because obviously it's got too big a space in between all the moving components now, which obviously is going to be an issue. So that's really why I want to get rid of it now. And some of the other things like that seat, like the fuel gauge, like I've looked it up, I can replace it for like 30 quid, Bosch new one, 30 quid off eBay. We can just pull the back seats out and send a hole under there where the fuel tank is and pull it straight out, because it's like attached to the pump and everything. So the whole unit for the fuel sender and pump's 30 quid, which to me is nothing, but I'd rather just not spend any more money on it, even because that's why I haven't bothered modifying it or anything else anymore. So yeah, also like the engine's alright in it, that's kind of positive, but yeah, it obviously, because it's 1.2, it's only got what, 78 horsepower, 80 if I round it up, but it's probably dropped below 78 and that. So yeah, it's alright, but it's a bit slow, and yes, it's got a bigger engine in it than my mum's car, because she's only got 1 litre. I'm pretty sure hers is the same horsepower from a smaller engine, so obviously the efficiency and stuff from back in the day is a bit lower. So yeah, and also I want to get rid of it before the mileages creep up too much. But yeah, no, I think. Oh, and also it's got that one because it's only the club model and it's not really anything too sporty. That's only got the normal sort of exhaust on, which is corroding slowly, but luckily it doesn't have a hole in it at the minute. So yeah, we'll have to get that sorted at some point. But also my brother's learning to drive now, so at some point he'll have to look for a car, so they're probably more likely to deal with him, and then like, oh, maybe you should get a new car, but we'll see. Because also I want some better car, but then it's like insurance and stuff, because if mum and dad are like stick with the same people, but then I want to move, and we are going to move next year probably, and whatever else. And also as well, with me doing what I'm doing now, it might be that I need a vehicle to run for my business instead, so I might need to buy a van. I'll be quiet, cat. I might need to buy a van or something instead of a car, but then I really want to buy a decent car, but then I could buy a truck, but I can afford a truck, but then I don't know about the insurance on it, so we'll have to see about that, because that's normally like 2 litre engines in them. Vans, oh, it depends, can be anything. There's like a 1.8 I looked at, which obviously is quite bigger than my one. And then yeah, also my uncle decided to buy a new car and brought a Jag XF or something along those lines, SVR, so he's now got a V8, 5 litre V8 with 500 odd horsepower. Grandpa decided to buy a Skoda Octavia SVR with a 2 litre diesel, so he's got like 180 brake horsepower now. And it's like, bloody hell, why does he need that? But yeah, we'll see what we do. Yeah, as you can hear, the cat has just been meowing in the background, so yes. Where is he? Here he is, look. It's Pickles. Stop loving the camera. Yeah, that's one of my 2 annoying cats. So yeah, I think that'll do for the video, and on the Vauxhall Corsa. I might do some others on them. It's good bits about a first car and some other bits, but obviously at the minute it's a bit of a area which I can't really talk much else upon, because there isn't much else about it that's left to know. So yeah, cheers guys, and thanks for watching.